Our Eskom has provided a shocking outlook for load shedding for the coming 12 months. In its worst case scenario, it has predicted 354 days of load shedding. The power utility was presenting to Parliament's Joint Portfolio Committee on Public Enterprises and Mineral Resources. Energy analyst Clyde Mallison joins us now. Clyde, good evening to you. Thanks for your time. Absolutely unbelievable, this outlook given to Parliament by Eskom. Do you think it's true? Does it look probable to you? And if in fact that is the case, what does this mean for the country?
Evening, Kathy. Well, first of all, it's not unbelievable at all. I've been calling this for a long time now. It's as expected, I'm afraid. So it's perhaps slightly worse than one might have hoped for, but yeah, it's going to be bad, I'm afraid.
Effectively, this leaves us with very few days in a calendar year under the worst case scenario where we would have electricity. That means that Eskom at that point is completely dysfunctional.
Yeah, just, when you talk about 350 something days a year, it basically means that the period between Christmas and New Year, we can perhaps expect not to have load shedding, but that's about all. But Kathy, when one's talking about that number of days of load shedding, it's probably only during peak times on those days, if you know what I mean. So load shedding during that period will most likely be in the evening from, let's say, 4 or 5 o'clock till 9 o'clock in the evening. So even if there's only 5 hours of what I call capacity shortfall load shedding, if it happens every day, then it means there will be load shedding of up to stage 3 severity. But I don't expect it to be throughout the whole day for those 354 days. I expect it to be primarily at peak usage times of the day.
Clyde, that is really the time of the day where people need energy the most. Is when people have coming back to their homes after what would have been very long, in some instances, very difficult days. We've also been told about the damage to infrastructure when Eskom implements load shedding. I mean, let's talk about some of the direct or indirect results as a result of a load shedding scenario like that.
Yeah, look, it's very damaging. The most damaging load shedding is when we have long periods of load shedding, if you know what I mean. In other words, if load shedding at a high level persists for 3 or 4 days in a row. So I think if we get to stage 4, our water infrastructure, for example, can just cope. But I've got a feeling that if we get to prolonged stage 6 load shedding, we start seeing backups on sewerage plants, on water pumping, and basically the service delivery pretty much collapses if we have prolonged stage 6. So it's all dependent on the duration and the stage. One of the small rays of hope is that we probably won't have that much. We won't have that much of a shortage of energy, if you can see the distinction. So if you look at the energy that we use in a year versus the energy that Eskom can deliver in a year, we're only short of about 1%. Whereas when it comes to load shedding at peak times, we're short of perhaps 20%. But we're only short of that 20% for a short duration of the day. So when you look at it from an energy perspective, it's not so bad. And so one of the quick solutions to ameliorate this situation is actually to do what you and I do in our homes, and that is to put the whole country on a big battery. The best and the fastest thing we can do to ameliorate capacity load shedding is to build and construct very large batteries as quickly as possible. And then when we have surplus energy at night, we can put it into those batteries and we can then boost our ability to have capacity at those peak times, exactly the same way you do to get yourself through load shedding as a household.
Energy analyst Clyde Mallison will leave it there for tonight. Thanks for weighing in on this issue.